Hello, ladies. I am sorry for today. I wasn't expecting that, but apparently my neighbor's water main had a problem, and they had to break concrete to get to it. So there was a lot of jackhammering, and I even tried to make sure that I could or could not do it. I went ahead and I taped a little bit, both with just a plain microphone and with my headphones, with the individual microphone, and unfortunately that jackhammer was still coming on so loud that you could barely understand what I was saying. So they told me 2 hours, but I took some precautions. That's why I set it for 5 o'clock. They actually did finish in 3 hours, so I didn't want to get on when I had already announced again 5 o'clock. So I'm going to show you two different things that you can do with metallics or pearlescence. I just chose metallics, kind of sort of in this. Hi, June. Yeah, my name is Day. My channel's name is Kalyana, because I chose it when I opened the channel, because in the ancient Sanskrit means beautiful and successful at the same time. So I thought it was a good omen type of name. So I'm going to show you two different things. On one of them I'm going to use just this. You can use multiple colors. This is as you can see, it's a silver and pearl. This is a golden pearl, and this is an ancient golden pearl. I'm going to use both of these for one of the things, and just this for the second type of effect. So as you can see, I already have prepared this Skinner blend. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to equalize it and then run it through the pasta machine on a thinner setting and in this direction, in length. So the simple way to equalize it is to select a certain, what you would want the height of this to be. And the other thing that you need to do is to roll your roller a little bit, so that, because if you don't and you just rely on the clay to behave, it's going to start splitting. And pardon my hands, but I've been doing some gardening today, and you know how hard it is to get dirt away from your fingernails. And also I intend to go back outside after this is over. So see, this one is not the same straight as the other one, so the way that you're equalizing it, again, I want them to be both the same. So it is true here, I'm kind of doing a little bit of eyeballing, but if you don't want to do eyeballing, you just bring your other one here. So I cut it from here and I move it on top. So now I have the width that I want. Again, I'm going with the roller over it. And then I'm going to get it in the pasta machine in length. So we are already going to obtain a mica shift by doing this. Actually, let me get this one prepared too, because I'm at this, so Here we go. Okay, now I'm going to go a little bit lower. I'm in Oklahoma. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do next is to get these in a roll with the lighter part inside. So as I said, this will already create a mica shift effect. The problem is that when cutting, we are going to get the dark side of the metallic. And let me actually show you, because there's a tutorial in which I explained a lot of how the mica shift appears. If you give me a second, I will. Okay, it's one of my older it's not. I'll have to look for it after I explain all this, because I don't find it at the first. Yeah, it's late in England, isn't it? Okay, so and the same thing, and we are going to get them at the same height. And before I do anything else, I'm going to wrap them. Okay, so I'm going to grab a little bit of black. And by the way, you can do the same, but roll them backwards with the inside being the darker one, and wrap them in translucent, and you'll get another neat effect. Unfortunately, as you know, full translucent effects do not show on unbaked clay. So, I mean, they do not show fully in Primo. That's okay, Elaine. I wish I had overslept. I'm a little sleep deprived today because we had, again, overnight storms. None of them were dangerous, but they were loud. And I love to sleep in the rain, but not when there's a lot of thunder. I cannot sleep when there's a lot of thunder. Okay, so I'm going to get this on what would be on a regular machine, the thickest setting. On a Makins, it's setting number 2. Alrighty, so Yeah, so I didn't sleep from like 2:30 a.m. till I think it was like 6 o'clock. Then I managed to sleep till 9. And then, of course, you can imagine with the jackhammer here, I couldn't sleep. So I think I'm going to go to bed early tonight. All right, so as usual, we go over, get our line. Hold on, I lost my camera. Get our line. So you get to know where to cut. You simply get over it a little bit, and you see it leaves a line, so you know where you can cut to get a perfect wrapping. So we got this now, and I'll get the other one as well wrapped. And I also got an earworm. Like it was, I made the mistake of watching some shorts because I couldn't sleep, as I said, but I could have my headphones and kind of drown out that jackhammer. So I watched some sports, and it's like last month the general background sound of shorts was that song with My Anxiety. Now number one is that song with Sitting Out for Hours, I'm Picking Flowers. And number two is Pretty Little Baby. So now they gave me an earworm. I did something though, just in revenge. Every single short that would come up with that. Hi Sharon. Every single short that came up with that background music, I went ahead and I blocked the channel. And I gave them first down. And then I blocked the channel. I know it's petty, but I kind of had enough. I didn't even watch those shorts. Don't get me wrong. Some of them probably I would have liked those channels. But I do not like when everybody goes the same and uses the same song just to get extra. They think they're gonna get extra likes. Okay, so I am going to reduce them, and I'm going to make several different sizes. And always you start from the middle and go towards the ends. And now we are going to get again starting, because I have to hurry what I'm doing in the garden, because from tomorrow evening until probably the end of the week, we are going to get rain. So, and I've been waiting forever to do some weed killing. And that doesn't work unless you have 2 or 3 days of no rain, because, you know. Okay, so this would be a good one. So let me remove the wastages. And I'm going to, let me see, 1, 2, sorry. Actually, let me make it even smaller. I'm gonna do 4 of these, or maybe 5. Maybe 6. And this is going to go even smaller. And there we go. Okay, so these are all with the antique gold. So I'm gonna do the same with the gold. At least May is over, and I hope we don't get more severe storms. But have you seen the predictions about the hurricane season this year? It's kind of scary. Because apparently we are in stationary because of El Nino and La Nina replacing each other. It's one of those stationary times when there are no trade winds over the Atlantic, so they don't snuff out the hurricanes before they can get too big. So we're gonna get big time hurricanes. It's the same atmospheric situation that was in, what was it, 2017 when we had Harvey. So usually Oklahoma doesn't get affected much, and I said much, unless if they are the ones that veer east, northeast. But when they are the ones that get deeper in the Gulf of Mexico, we get the edges, you know, the edge that's practically just a kind of sort of tropical storm. But it's the part that has a lot of tornadoes. So 3 of these. The only time we had something different was, I think it was called Charlotte. There was this hurricane that kind of landed, I think, either directly in Houston, Galveston, or a little bit north of that. Anyway, it landed going west, and it of course started petering out. And then when it became a regular storm, you know, a depression and then a regular storm. And then when it got to New Mexico, we did the 180, came back, intensified, the only known storm, a tropical storm since they started recording weather, that formed over land. And then it came and sat on top of us and peeled us for 3 days, and we had a lot of flooding, a lot. But otherwise, no, we are not really affected except for the edges of the storm sometime. But if it's one of those that goes veering east or northeast, we don't have a problem. So I don't know, it's scary. Okay, so now obviously we are going to start putting them together and trying to get some separate stuff. Try to get them a little bit different. You don't have to get the same colors one near the other, but you can still have some one near the other. It's not that big of a deal. And for now it doesn't seem like something super spectacular, right? But you'll see what happens later. And I do have a lot more ancient gold and gold. Oh well, it's gonna still look pretty. So see, I try to get it at least a little bit coherent as size. And as I said, it's going to be lines, yeah? So consolidate this really good. It's gonna be not just lines, but it's gonna be lines with a mica shift effect. So consolidate it so you'd have something that you can cut slices, and the slices not to be too small, you know, so you kind of want to keep some of the width of this, and this part be narrower, not too narrow so you cannot cut, but narrower. And again, you want them to be very well consolidated so you don't have any air bubbles. Okay, at this point we are going to do several cuts all the way through. Now put it together, back together. And we'll do again some more cuts all the way through. Hey, stay back there. Didn't cut straight. And again reconsolidate. And the third time cut. And you can easily see which side you cut, because one of the sides will have only a few lines and the other one more. And yeah, it helps when you use the sharp side of the blade. Okay, so you cut 3 times. And then we get on the side that does not have the cuts. And let's make a little bit of a, and I will resin them all so you can see the result. Let me make a base. Your base kind of thin, so let me see, I don't want something too big, so this would be good. And I'm going to make me a little bit of a directional imprint, so I turn this upside down when with the blunt side I pressed a little bit so I would know. Now, remember, we go with the side that did not have the cuts, and we are going to start cutting in a diagonal. So the first one is kind of lost. And what does this do? It actually creates a lateral oblique positioning of the mica particles that will create the chatoyancy effect. Okay, so this should be enough, and you see that we have all these little ups and downs thingies. Now I'm going to try and get them all nicely. And try to align them in the same direction, so don't place one like this and one like this. You want them to be all in the same direction. And I need a little bit here. Okay, and obviously the next thing is to burnish it. Yeah, I knew I had a better. So first press with your fingertips. And then remember that you want stuff to go down first before it goes anywhere else. You want it to go down, and you're using the wax paper because that allows you to see in the transparency where there are empty spots where you don't have clay, so that means you didn't press it down enough for all the clay to be stuck to the paper. And get a smaller acrylic. And we are going all over it with a circular motion. And you should be able to feel if there are any bumps and things. I still have a little bit here. So this time I'm going to go straight to the roller. And it depends on what colors you choose. Of course, you can use hues of purple, because you have the purple curl. Alright, so now let's cut it nicely. And I'm gonna place it on a mirror. Alright, now let's get this with the eyeglasses. I lost my eyeglasses not earlier. With the resin so it can have time to cure while I'm doing the other one. Oh, come on. I know it doesn't look like too much of a something, but once and it's the same. I do the UV resin so you can see how it would look when it's baked and sanded and buffed. But if you don't like or can't sand and buff, just go ahead and do the resin. And yes, I always say, yes, I do place the resin first and then I bake to avoid the spooning of the clay. And as long as you use Chinese UV resin, you're fine. The resin will not get yellowed, it will not release fumes, it will not do anything of the sorts. So, and what I'm talking about spooning is when you place resin. The resin is self-doming, so it will pull on the edges of the piece and the piece will become a little bit like a spoon. It can be fixed, but it's a pain, so I'm avoiding that. Alrighty, now let's get to the second style. So I'm going to get this a little bit thinner, and I mean a lot thinner, like on a 6 on a making, so that would be a 7 on a regular machine. And I'm going to not fan fold it, but stack it. Because you don't want those little folds at the edges. It would mess up the mica shift pattern. And this one doesn't have black. Of course, you can use a ruler and cut equal amounts, but you know, I mostly do eyeballing. So there are pieces in which it's essential to measure, but when I do things like this, it's just the way I feel it. Some artists are like that. I'm not saying I'm the only one and I'm special about it, but it happens. But of course, you first when you learn how it is done with the rules, and then when you advance, you can skip the rules, but you have to know how it should look with the rules. Okay. Now I'm going to reduce this. And obviously, so everything that I would cut like this would show me the shiny part of the metallic, and everything I cut like this would show me the dark part of the metallic. So I'm going to simply reduce it in length. Try to keep it even. There are many ways to do this. And don't forget, I also have mica shift canes. You can find them in my canes playlist. I think it's in the intermediate canes. And it all depends on how you place the clay to obtain those effects. But I want this to be kind of sort of even. Still too much. And now it depends on how you start pinching, because you can pinch with the white on one side and with the dark on the other side, but I'm going to go a little bit more 3D, and I'm going to pinch it in the corners. So let's cut the wastage. And as I said, I'm pinching the corners, so I'm going to make it as you can see like this. And a little bit more pinched on the edges. So I have, this time I have, instead of having the light on one side and the dark on the other side, I kind of have the darker on this side and the lightest on the other side. But let's go ahead and, do I want it like this? Let's do it like this. So you want to get them proper. The same position for all. And I'm going to do some more reducing. And if you're gonna ask, why didn't you first do it as a square, because it's easier? Because some of the mica shift effect happens differently when it's directly in a diamond shape than when it is a square. You can still use the roller. You cannot use the tiny Pandora's square pairs to reduce it, but otherwise everything is exactly the same. So I'm going to reduce it again to until I can cut it in 4. I'm not going to make it too small. It all depends on how much you make. You can get larger slices or smaller slices. And we are going to do the exact same thing as before. as we can see, I have this. Now I'm going to do again the same kind of cutting thing. Make sure and hold it so it wouldn't break apart, because this one is harder to put together than the square one. And I'm going to turn it this way and finish cutting. And then do another series of this. I'm gonna only do 2 on this one, not 3. And on this one I am going to cut also in a little diagonal. Let me prepare my base. And again I'm getting my I have my little line, and once again we cut on a diagonal, but this time I'm going to cut from the top. Of course you can use this, but I would also suggest to cut on a diagonal, not directly like this. But as I said, you won't see the final effects until you're completely done. I mean, with the sanding and buffing or with the resin. There we go. And the burnishing. First use the fingers, and then use the acrylic. Let the clay breathe. Use the acrylic again. And you can use other combinations of colors if you want. It's not just, I just thought that this one was, it's a little subdued but very elegant when you do the silver and pearl. And remember, when you use the roller, never roll, you just rub. Because if you roll, it's going to change the position of the mica particles. And there we go. And now we can use the cut. and then go ahead and resin it. Yeah, let me just put it here because I have stuff in the oven. I mean, I don't have other mirrors available. So, and while this one cures, I'll show you refocus the other one, the one that we made the first time. And this is it. So you see, it's not a lot of mess up and work, and if you mess up, you can always get these in one color, mix the whole thing, get one color, and then use another color to do a skinner blend, and you're done. It's reusable. Okay. So. There we go. Now let me refocus. Yeah, I forgot I need to turn it off. And get it warm. Remember, I don't always get the proper effect using these lights. And let's come even closer. And there we go. Now it should be. Because it kind of comes and goes. Because you have 3 different positions of the mica particles in. One is from when you first, that would be the round when you first rolled it. The second one is when you cut in it, it changed some of the particles on an oblique way. And the third one is when you cut the slice. So it is in daylight, or even with regular lights in the house, it looks a little bit different than what I can show you here. I'll probably just do a little short with my phone to show you exactly how it looks like. I mean, in daylight. So let's wait for the other one. It's almost done. And there we go. As I said, it does get, it looks much better in the daylight. On this one you can see better the mica shift effect coming and going. So these are the 2 mica shift effect things that you can do with practically with just 2 colors, just a play. So I hope you enjoyed it, and you'll try this yourself. There we go. And I shall see you next Sunday, hopefully, with no more weather and no more water main breakings. And if you are new, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you next Sunday. Thank you. Have a wonderful week to come. Bye.